IAS Secretary to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Surya Pal Gangwar.
When working in government PSUs, it is almost very similar to working in any corporate.
The way you explained the difference between what looks functional and what actually performs offers such a clear window into real governance.
If we see the scale, 8 lakh crores or say $0.1 trillion kind of budget that we have in state government.
Hey there, welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, and today we have a conversation that blends governance, technology, operations leadership, and real-world decision-making at scale. Today's guest is someone who has worked across public administration, aviation, taxation, manufacturing, ERP implementation, and now operates at a very center of state-level policy execution. Joining me is Mr. Surya Pal Gangwar, IAS Secretary to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Mr. Gangwar is an IAS officer and an alumnus of IIT Roorkee, an industrial engineer currently pursuing PhD from IIM Indore in strategic management. He got an All India rank 8 in the civil services examination and brings 27 years of experience across the IAS, IRS, public service enterprises like Air India and Indian Airlines, and global organizations such as Oracle, Philips, Century, and EMC. He has worked as Managing Director of MVVNL, a state PSU power distribution company, having turnover of around 150 billion USD, that is more than 15,000 crores Indian rupees, leading 20,000 employees serving 10 million customers for 2 years, where he implemented SAP ERP and many other reforms. He had been the District Magistrate in 7 districts, including Lucknow, the capital city of UP, for 2.5 years. He had written the whole transforming journey of UP civil aviation, increasing the number of airports from 3 to now 20, and Noida International Airport at Jewar on PPP mode when he was Director Civil Aviation. His work spans district administration, power distribution reform, civil aviation, infrastructure, industrial development, governance systems, election management, ERP implementation, and public service delivery. Mr. Gangwar, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sunny. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward for this conversation.
Likewise, sir. Mr. Gangwar, take us back to your early professional years before the IAS, when you were working as an engineer in corporate roles. What's something that genuinely surprised you about leadership? Not the designation, not the authority, but the real responsibility of being accountable for people and outcomes. You know, something you did not expect at that stage.
Well, I saw leaders, how they prepare their teams and empower them to deliver. People say giving responsibilities and showing the confidence in their capabilities can make even a child grow early and become mature. So when I was industrial engineer, joined as trainee engineer in EMC, there was an incident when the shop floor was being transformed by installing a complete CNC shop there. And the team which was sent to Italy for getting training and then take over the function of CNC shop, they failed when the technician, after installation, the machine went back. So there was a huge investment. CMD was not very happy because the CNC shop was not showing production. And I was just a trainee at the time. So one day, I got the opportunity to travel with CMD in his car. He asked about CNC shop. And I told him that when the technician was here, I got the opportunity to learn everything about CNC, and I can run the CNC shop. So the very next day, he made me the in charge of CNC shop and shown his confidence that I can do it. And within a week, the production from CNC shop surpassed the traditional shops production. So that was the transforming moment for me, because as a trainee, I was suddenly given an overwhelming responsibility of completely a new setup in the company, which was new to me as well as other workers also. But the kind of responsibility given to me and the confidence shown in me gave me that opportunity to showcase my capabilities. And that's how I became the leader of shop floor in terms of, say, workers started seeing me, their future in me. And also the whole management, including CMD, gave me a few more responsibilities after that. And that made me more and more confident every day. And so I saw that kind of transformation from a trainee to a manager immediately. And I saw how the leaders like CMD made me responsible and then grow mature very early in that scenario. Second thing, if I would like to mention, when I joined Philips, in that scenario, my immediate superior boss was an IIT, IM, and a very research-oriented mind. He was very thorough. Truly speaking, I could never pace with him at that stage. But I always dreamed to learn as much as he knew. So he gave me technical know-how. He exposed me to the ERP and Excel. He asked me to develop a scheduler, shop scheduler in Excel, and he helped me in that also. But those two features that he gave me as a leader or as a boss at the time remained with me till now. And throughout my career, the ERP had been a very significant contributor to my professional upskilling. And to tell you frankly, even if I can say that later on when I joined Century, I was made in charge of that ERP team who was supposed to implement ERP. And then later on, I joined Oracle ERP also. And then moving fast forward, when I joined MBBNL as managing director, I got the opportunity to implement SAP ERP there. So all over these corporates culture that was transformed using ERP. And since I had got the technical knowledge in the initial stage from my leader, my professional leader, and he exposed me to the complete business scenario. And I say, Sunny, if you want to make any businessman a confident person, then you just train him in all modules of ERP. He will come to know everything about business, how it works, what are the parameters, what are variables, what things are required to be controlled in a business. So any person can skill up in the business capabilities just by learning ERP. So I had been witnessing this from one corporation to the other, and this is really a very transformational technology that has enabled many businesses to make a very standardized form of business, to get the best practices from other businesses and integrate all their discrete activities, business activities into one.
Wow. So, what a great start to this conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Gangwar. And what truly stands out in your reflection is how your early corporate experiences shaped your understanding of responsibility long before the IAS. And the way you described those moments, especially the unexpected weight of being accountable, gives a rare and meaningful window into your journey. And it was a privilege to hear that.
Yeah, this was really a transformation at the early stage. So, as you asked me about leadership, leaders prepare their team members for tomorrow. And those who want to see their replicas in terms of whatever experience they might have gained in 30 years, 40 years, if they can inculcate that kind of experience at the early stage of any individual, any professional, then that kind of, say, grooming at the early stage makes any professional very confident, and then he can move or excel in his later career. I have seen that because in the beginning, when this kind of confidence comes, then we explore new opportunities. So in the beginning, Sunny, I tell you, uh, first company when I joined EMC, then I switched over to Philips, then Century, then Oracle, then Air India, and all these switches gave me new opportunities, new environments, and new learning scenarios. And that made me so confident that when I was working with Indian Airlines, which later became Air India, I got that sense when I was working under Mr. Sunil Arora, who was CMD at that time. I got the opportunity to work for some projects under him. Then I realized that I should try for civil service examination also, and I can clear IAS. That confidence gave me the opportunity, and I worked hard to get into civil service, and that fruitified, and I got into IAS with All India Earth Rank in 2008 examination.
Great, great. Mr. Gangwar, you currently serve as Secretary to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. And before this, you have been a district magistrate in multiple districts, managing director of a power distribution company, and special secretary across key departments like civil aviation, infrastructure, and industries. So, when you step into a new assignment, whether it's a district, a department, or a public utility, what's the first signal you look for to understand whether the system is actually ready to perform versus just appearing functional on paper?
Okay. Since I had that opportunity of working in different scenarios. It was corporate, and within corporate MNCs and Indian companies, then PSUs, and then direct government setup where I had been working in different positions. So if I see how this journey has been and what I could take out from all my experiences. Say if I sit in a boardroom and if I have to take some decisions or I have to deliberate on one particular issue, then first of all, I will list down all the decision opportunities and then prioritize them based on the requirement of that situation. Say, when I'm working as a district magistrate, the priorities are absolutely different than when I'm working as a managing director of power distribution company. And then when I'm in a policy making role, the responsibilities and the priorities, the expectations, they all are so varied that we have to recalibrate ourselves at every next moment when we are switching from one role to the other. So if I say when working in government PSUs, it is almost very similar to working in any corporate world because the functions are almost the same. The clientele changes, the processes remains largely the same, but the structures may vary from one corporation to the other. But when we switch to the responsibilities of, say, district magistrate, I was district magistrate in 7 districts, and last I was district magistrate in Lucknow, which is a capital city. Sunny, many times the role of a district magistrate is within this role, we have so many dynamics involved, so many expectations from public, public representatives, from the government, there are multiple angles to those expectations. I give you certain examples, how the roles vary and how we fulfill the expectations from different stakeholders. When I was DM Lucknow, there are, say, certain times, say, election times. So all the machinery of government is taken over by the election commission, and we have to function under election commission. Our priorities changes absolutely from routine work to a very project related work, and that project we can say is an election management. But in general, when we are delivering our general responsibilities, there is lot of time which we spend on the implementation of government policies, identifying the right beneficiaries, right projects, and then getting them implemented in a step-by-step fashion and uh, in a very object-oriented or result-oriented approach. But apart from that, the public has certain expectations from their district magistrates. I tell you, Sunny, we can't say that why you have called me for this thing. Each and everything public will expect from you as a DM, that they expect that we know everything. They expect that we have the solution for all their problems. We can't say to them that this I will study and then will let you know, because that is the expectation from public, that DM knows everything. We also have to portray that thing, because to keep their hopes alive. Although we are human beings with the same kinds of limitations as any other human being, but we have to keep their hopes high, hopes intact in government, because the district magistrate is the face of the government. So even sometimes if someone will call in the early morning and say that I was going to take bath and my tap went dry, and he will call the DM with the expectation that DM will solve that problem. And how we react to such odd questions also makes or unmakes our image in that district. So if once this call came to me, I immediately instructed my Nagar Nigam personnel and sent a water tanker at his home within 10 minutes. So anything and everything is the job of a district magistrate. So we have to manage everything in such a way that government can't deny that this is not the function of the government. I share, Sunny, one very interesting incident. In one night after, say, midnight, I got a call from a woman in distress, and she told me that her husband has beaten her and is throwing her out of the house. So she was struggling at that night, and she had the number of DM. She called me, and I just asked her, give this number to your husband. And I talked to her husband, and he apologized immediately. And I called them both. I asked, you should come tomorrow in the morning. So he apologized, and the matter went well. Means they settled. So each and every, what I want to say, the public has the contact of DM, and they feel so friendly calling DM that each and every problem that they are having, DM will have some kind of solution to that. So that kind of a varied experience that comes in the role of a district magistrate. But when we comes to corporate, then there is other set of responsibilities, other set of expectations from the government. If we see the scale, see the scale, 8 lakh crores, or say $0.1 trillion kind of budget that we have in state government, the projects have to be drawn, they have to be completed in time. All the budget has to be spent within 1 year, planned, spending, and everything has to be done within 1 year. And that too, within the umbrella of set rules and regulations. No one can overreach those rules and regulations. So all these kinds of constraints enables us to make our competence up and keep ourselves updated and upskill ourselves at every moment. Yeah.
Mr. Gangwar, the way you explained the difference between what looks functional and what actually performs offers such a clear window into real governance. And your example about reading human signals instead of just paperwork really brings the system alive. Thank you for sharing those insights with us today.
Thank you.
So, continuing our conversation, you have led operations in environments as different as district administration, electricity distribution, and civil aviation. If you were sitting in a boardroom and asked to prioritize just one operational area to fix first in order to create momentum across a large public organization, what would you choose? And how would you defend that decision to a skeptical group of senior stakeholders?
Well, if I say, if I am sitting in a boardroom, that situation, I will start by analyzing the whole scenario. If I say power sharing sometimes is more effective than power over. So first I will scan the whole environment, do my own assessment, and then I will take the inputs if time permits. I will try to take inputs first hand. If time does not permit, then I will rely on the secondary data. The inputs from all stakeholders. It may be, say, in a corporate situation, it may be the management, senior management, the workers, their unions, and say clients, or maybe the suppliers. There are many stakeholders in a business scenario. So considering all inputs, I will try to prioritize that what are those activities or those things which requires immediate decision making. So I will try to identify the opportunities, decision making opportunities, number one. And then within that, there will be certain decisions which will require, say, some deeper knowledge or deeper understanding, and there will be some low hanging fruits. So, Sunny, I will focus on those issues first, which will require my lesser effort and will result into more results. So the priority will be first based on the inputs versus output analysis. That if giving a smaller inputs yield into a better results, so more results, that will be the first priority area. Second, there will be situational things which will depend on one particular state of affairs that is going on in that scenario, or the kind of, say, budget agenda, the agenda items of the boardroom. So all those things, after assessing, I will try to prioritize the things. All organizations have different kinds of deliverable and expectations at different times. So the kind of challenges that the organization is facing at that time, how it can be brought out of those challenges or opportunities also. If, say, there is some scenario where the organization can have some opportunity and explore, and based on those decisions, it can make a better move than their competitors, then it's always better to take those decisions first.
Absolutely. And the clarity with which you explain the importance of honest information flow is striking. It gives such a practical window into how momentum is actually created in large systems. And hearing the way you have lived this across districts and sectors really brings the complexity of governance down to something deeply human and actionable.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So, moving forward, you also bring a rare background into public leadership. Deep experience in ERP implementation, manufacturing operations, and process engineering from your time at companies like Philips, Century, Air India. So, how do you balance two forces that often pull in opposite directions in government systems? The one is the need for control, compliance, and accountability, and the other is a need for speed, flexibility, and problem solving on the ground. So, how do you do that?
Sunny, that's really a very tough task of driving a balance between the two things that you are mentioning. That bureaucratic systems are relatively rigid and they does not allow uh, too much of experimentation. The systems, the rules are set, the decisions has to be taken in that premises only. So there is a trade-off between the efficiency, the smartness, or the quick results versus following the principles, following the policies, the procedures. So there is always a trade-off. In If I say in a scenario like the government's scale, the kind of a scale that the government handle, it can't be left to the individuals to completely decide, because then the question of accountability and mismanagement can occur frequently. So the priorities of the government generally remains to follow certain rules, regulations, procedures. But corporations or business scenarios, we see that only the agile organizations last long or they move forward. But all those organizations which are stick by the structural limitations or procedural limitations, they definitely lack kind of a speed that is required in moving forward. But I can say one thing, that this is true, that governments many times offer uh, offer better services, but the kind of efficiency that is inbuilt in the bureaucratic system needs always to be improved. And the new technology that we take along, like in government also, now the artificial intelligence is being explored in different aspects of governance, and this will definitely improve. So the kind of speed and efficiency that is reflected in the working of corporate or the companies is definitely available for government also to follow. But I accept this thing, that people say that, Sunny, means have become ends in government. That is generally quoted. We are very passionate about the procedures, the policies, and the kind of SOPs that we have for discharging different duties. We are very passionate about that, and that is how the government system is built. But definitely, as we are taking the experience from corporate world. We are just taking those things into account, and we are also upgrading our systems, but not to that extent that it should have been. Yes.
Okay. First of all, thank you for sharing those insights with us, Mr. Gangwar. The way you connected your engineering and aviation experience to governance brings such clarity to this balance between control and agility. And hearing how you have lived this tension on the ground makes the philosophy feel really relatable and real.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunny.
Most welcome, sir. So, all right. So let's switch gears and have a little fun with our rapid fire round. Quick questions, no overthinking. Are you ready for it? I shoot you with the first question. If you could sit down for coffee with any leader, past or present, who would it be and why?
Uh, he will be my Honorable Chief Minister, Yogi Adityanath ji, whom I am working currently as Secretary. The
Absolutely.
reason is very clear. He is a very charismatic leader. He has clarity in his vision. He is a visionary leader, clarity in his thought, and very disciplined.
Absolutely. And I guess that's right. Yes. He is icon to me also. Great leader, exceptional leader.
True.
Right. Okay. So moving on to the next question. What's one habit you have built over the years that has made the biggest difference to you, how you handle pressure now?
After serving so many organizations in so many positions, I just learned decide quickly. Quick decisions may be suboptimal, but delayed decisions may be useless sometimes.
Incredibly true. Right. Uh, Moving on to the next question. If you weren't in public administration today, what career do you think you would have stayed with? Engineering, corporate leadership, or something else entirely?
Corporate leadership, definitely I was born professionally in corporate, and the kind of things that has come to me, it has become a part of my personality. And currently I am also pursuing PhD in strategic management from IIM Indore. So that is inside me.
Okay. What's one book or idea that has influenced the way you think?
Uh, Many books, but especially I will say Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek and Madhushala by Harivansh Rai Bachchan.
Wow. Okay, so two different choices from the spectrum of the books, and both are greats. Okay, so finally, in a role as demanding as yours, what does a realistic version of work-life balance look like?
Okay, that again comes from a book titled The Infinite Game by Simon Sinek. It talks about the work-life balance in a manner that we should understand the game, whether it is infinite or finite game, and should try to play finite games with finite game mentality. And infinite games should be played with infinite game mentality. We will always mess up if we will play infinite games with the mentality of finite games.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great. So that was quick, that was fun, and this is why this segment, rapid fire round, is my favorite because that is how we come to know the person, the thinking, the success mantra behind the profession.
Sorry, we all come across so many different kinds of experiences, and these situations are so dynamic that we keep on changing. 10 years before, the kind of say understanding about these things, including work-life balance, etc., was different. Now it is different. After 10 years, it will definitely going to be different. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. Okay. Mr. Gangwar, you have worked in some of the most sensitive areas of public administration: revenue management, law and order coordination, elections, taxation, aviation regulations, infrastructure development, and public utilities. Now, in these environments, trust isn't just a value, it's operational currency. So, I would like to ask you is when organizations face integrity shocks, whether it's financial irregularities, audit failures, service breakdowns, or public criticism, trust doesn't disappear overnight, but it can, erode very quickly if leadership hesitates. So, if you were sitting in a boardroom during a moment like that, what are the first steps you would push for to stabilize the organization, restore internal confidence, and communicate credibility externally?
Okay. Uh, Sunny, such situations unfortunately comes in organizations, and we face these things in daily life also, and in corporate world we face that in boardrooms also. So the first reaction to these understandings when they come to notice, first the person who is in the decision making authority should go into deep and understand the actual facts, and then it should be a clear communication with all stakeholders about the facts and information. The right information has to be given to all stakeholders. That is non negotiable. Then, to restore the credibility, that is the first step, that you have acknowledged what has gone wrong. And now, your course of action, that how you will restore those things. If some damage is done, if some loss is made based on certain things, how it will be recovered, whether it will be recovered or not. So all these things comes in planning, that how you plan to restore the confidence of your stakeholders. So for this, like in government, we have certain inbuilt concurrent processes that go side by side. There are first set rules, and then there are concurrent audits also. There are concurrent feedback mechanism also. So if anything is going wrong, it will be indicated or some feedback will come at the right time. So that kind of mechanism has to be built in all organizations related to everything that can distort the image of the organization. So that is the first thing, that some preventive steps has to be taken to ensure that it does not happen. But when it happens, then the first reaction should be to get the complete information, facts and figures, and then communicate to all the stakeholders in a very rational manner, which does not distort the complete image of the organization. There may be certain individuals who might have performed some malified or bona fide intent. Based on that, they have to be punished appropriately as per the legal framework, and the stakeholders should be given confidence that it will never happen again. Now we have put these measures in place, and then when the report is complete, some inquiry must be conducted immediately, and the report should be made available to all concerned. So these kind of issues should not be tolerated at any level, and that is the confidence that the stakeholder want in the board or the decision makers, that there may be certain things which may go wrong, but the wrongdoers will not be spared. That should be the message.
Absolutely, Mr. Gangwar. And the way you described stabilizing both internal confidence and public trust makes the whole process tangible. I really appreciate the clarity and thoughtfulness in your approach. It's rare to hear trust handled with such practical wisdom and humanity. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you.
You have been associated with Directors Institute, which brings together leaders from corporate boards, public institutions, and global organizations to focus on governance, risk oversight, and sustainable value creation. Now, tell me this thing: what motivated you to engage with Directors Institute at this stage of your career?
I have been managing director in MBBNL and directors in many government companies at a state level. Now, last year, I have been promoted as joint secretary level in the central government. So I may be given more assignments of the board. So because I come from the corporate background before joining IAS, I feel this necessary to equip myself or upskill myself in the boardroom responsibilities in a more professional way. So the Directors Institute for gives this opportunity, and this will definitely give me the professional acumen and the capability to handle boardroom situations in a better way. Second, on a lighter note, uh, one day with lot of energy balance. So I can contribute to the corporate sector again with all kind of my rich experiences that I am gaining currently. So that is the futuristic thing. And at present also, there are many roles in government, or many times we come across the roles of governance, corporate governance. And if we know many things, then it becomes very easy for us to understand the corporate world and to help them out, because that is how the government should function. That the corporate and government, they are not two separate entities, they are working for each other, and the whole public welfare lies in that. They create the economic activities, they make the environment where the employment generates, the economy flows in a direction that so they go hand in hand. So we need to understand corporate in depth. As a government officer, if I understand the working of corporate in depth, then whenever at those nodes where I'm interacting with the corporate, I will be justified, or I will make a just decision. So that will enable me to make better decisions in future if I get all this kind of information and insight into the directorships.
Great to hear that. And it's fascinating how your engagement with Directors Institute is not just about titles or recognitions, but about cross pollinating governance insights between public institutions and corporate boards. Great. So, let me tell you, Mr. Gangwar, this has been truly an insightful conversation. From your early years in engineering and corporate operations to leading districts, managing large public utilities, and now working at the heart of state governance, your journey offers a rare perspective on how leadership, systems, and public outcomes intersect. So, thank you for sharing your experience, your thinking, and your approach to decision making and governance with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sunny. You gave me a very unique opportunity to interact with you and getting benefited from your interactions with other leaders of corporate. And we'll be looking forward to many such conversations. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, Sunny.
Absolutely. Any final words of wisdom for the audience who will be watching this?
Uh, I would like to say that in a changing scenario, we should skill ourselves at every stage whenever we get the opportunity, and we should make ourselves ready for future. And that is how the journey goes on. And we should become a decision maker in all roles, because every time, at all stages, all steps in life, we are making some kinds of decisions. It is the right framework of decision making mentality or mindset that makes our future brighter. Thank you.
Great, great. All right. So, with that mantra, keeping in mind, to everybody listening, thank you for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. If you found value in today's discussion on leadership, governance, and execution at scale, do share this episode with colleagues and peers who are building institutions and organizations of their own. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay accountable, and keep leading forward. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.